What's up everyone, welcome back to part 2 of this crazy Hyperbody GT build series. If you haven't seen the first part, definitely go check it out. I took a 60mm widebody kit, cut it up and extended it by 40mm, creating this insane 100mm widebody. You can see how aggressive it looks and how wide it is. So last time I took care of the quarter panels and the doors, so today what's left to do are actually just the front fenders. So stay tuned. In the last video, I installed these really nice tubs and gave the wheels as much clearance as they can get. So now I know that everything is safe on this side. The wheel can go all the way up without hitting any of the frame. So taking my new fender and slapping it on the car, we can see a few issues right away. First off, the width. So as you can see here, the tire is poking out a little bit. Not crazy, that's about 2 centimeters of poke. So if I follow along the same idea as in the rear, I'm gonna add about 4 centimeters to this fender, which may seem a little bit excessive for this setup right now, but keep in mind the wheel is turning left and right and up and down at the same time. So if I go too close here, it's bound to hit at some point. So I want to give it a little bit extra room just to be safe, and also having a nice square setup between the front and the rear is going to look a lot better overall. So the second issue is the height of the fender. As you can see here, there isn't a lot of room between the tire and the fender, and the car is in the air. So as soon as I drop it, the wheel's going to come up and hit the fender right there. So I need to cut this fender line about 3 to 4 centimeters higher, so about right there. So we did the same thing in the rear. So nothing too complicated, and as soon as I have the width correct, it's kind of easy to just take a saw and cut it to where it needs to be. Now the last issue is this part of the side skirt that needs to be molded to the fender and extended to close this gap, but that's independent of everything else, so I'll do it last. Now for the width, just like in the rear, I'm going to make a big cut right there along this line and a small one in the middle. That way I can pull the bottom of the panel out while leaving the top right there, and then patching everything in the center with some fiberglass, making it all smooth, and that should be it for the width.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard, and I wonder where you are.
Alright, so I think I found the correct width that I want to go with, but as you can see, it looks stupid wide from certain angles. I don't know why the front looks a lot more obnoxious than the rear, but it's actually only 4 centimeters more than before. As you can see right there, I also took one measurement from the inside of the wheel wells. Always the same reference point. Originally I had 45.5, now it's 49.5, so that's another 40 millimeters added to that. So that width is actually the exact same as the rear, but for some reason it looks a lot more bulky. Now I'm using these brackets here to hold the tension from one panel to the other. That way it creates a nice arc here that I can work with. I can just come in and fiberglass the rear here, make it all solid. But I also took 1 centimeter off of there, as you can see here, because this thing kind of prevents the panel from bending in certain ways. So I cut that off, and I know now I can cut another probably 2 centimeters right there to the end of the bracket, and that would give me a nice fitment. If I drop the car, yeah, about right there, that's a decent ride height. I can definitely take off these 2 centimeters and still have the perfect fitment that I'm looking for. So that's what I'll do later on. For now, let's get on with the fiberglass, and once that's done, do the big fiberglassing all the way across this thing and make it look perfectly smooth. Alright, so I just got done with the first few layers of fiberglass and it's all cured. So now I can take the first peek at what the front fenders might actually look like in the end. And it's scary big, it's insane. You guys ready to see it? Here it is. Now, I know it's kind of bulky still, but in my opinion, it flows a lot better now that this shape is closed. You can actually see the body line shaping around, then to the door, and then the rear. So in my opinion, it's starting to look really, really good, and I don't get that weird vibe anymore as I did before. So in my opinion, it's moving in the right direction. It's not 100% there yet, but it's getting there. Now I did try the front bumper on there as well, and with the hood, it all flows really nicely together. So that's a good thing. I think it's gonna look really, really good. So I'm really pumped. But let's not forget all the work that still needs to be done with those fenders, starting with the height. This is a normal ride height. It's not supported by the lift. So you can see this has to be cut a little bit. That's the first thing I'll do. Second thing, we'll be adding this little lip. That was the original one, and it's not going to work for several reasons. So I'll either modify this or make a new one. But either way, I need to add the lip in here. So let's get it done.
Take it slow.
Alright, so the inside lip is all done now, and it came out alright. It's a little bit wavy, but that's just one layer of fiberglass, so I didn't expect it to be perfect. Now, at least it's there, I can work with it, and it does add a lot of rigidity to the panels, which is great, because now both fenders are actually pretty close to each other, so that's perfect. I know there are some waves in here, but that's not a big deal. I can just grind them down and add another layer of fiberglass on top. It's gonna need it anyways, because that's just one layer and it's really flimsy. So that will be for later. For now, we can attack the last step, which is going to be this bottom side skirt. So what I want to do is cut along this black line and just remove this front part altogether, because it doesn't serve any purpose. It's just there for, I don't know why, but it makes basically this part higher and come closer to the wheel, which I don't want. So I'm going to cut it away, ditch it, and basically just mold the remaining piece to the fender. So let's get it done. So I just finished molding the front part of the side skirt extensions, and now you can see the fender goes down into one line. It doesn't have a step anymore, and the side skirt lines up perfectly. So that's all good to go. I'm not going to finish it now though, because it will be a lot easier once the top is done and I can actually remove the panel off the car. So I can come from the back side here and put fiberglass on the inside. So that's gonna have to wait. Now on the inside, I did cut the extra lip that I had from the original panel. So that's all gone and it looks like a single piece now. Doesn't have this weird step anymore. So I guess the next step will be putting the wheels on and seeing how this thing actually looks. Alright, this looks absolutely ridiculous. Let's just appreciate it for a second. You know what would look even cooler? If I put the bumper on there and the hood. Alright, let's do it. Damn. So I've slapped the roof and the rear bumper on as well, just for good measure. But yeah, I can't get over the looks of this thing. Just for fun, let's compare a stock GC8 and a not so stock GC8. Comparing from up here makes it even more obvious. It's actually funny to me that the roof of that car is now on this car. So at this point, I'm just going to let you guys enjoy the car and do a quick walk around. But you can probably tell what the next big issue will be, and that's with the bumpers. So the width clearly doesn't fit, as you can see in the back here. Like, that's a pretty big step that I'm going to have to fix. So either in the next episode or the one after that. Now I'm really curious to see what you guys think of this shape in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts. If you have any questions, suggestions, I try my best to answer and read all of those. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing. There is plenty more to come. And as always, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.